The Pentagon is clearly covering something up. I mean, you don't even need this report. I mean, both President Trump and former President Barack Obama have both stated that they've seen information that's not been released. And I just think the Pentagon is treating us like children.
For decades, the Pentagon kept their UFO files under lock and key until recently.
How do you know that these were not our aircraft?
These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds.
Now, declassified videos, Navy pilot testimonies, and official investigations are forcing the government to take the unknown seriously.
The Trump administration is releasing records related to UAPs, UFOs, and alleged extraterrestrial phenomena. Sightings of colorful UFO-like orbs floating through the sky.
There are these really cool snapshots of what it's like to be an astronaut, exploring new things for the first time.
It's a UFO. Check it out. Everybody's looking at it right now.
Now we are talking about UFO sightings. Unclassified. The Trump administration is releasing records related to UAPs, UFOs, and alleged extraterrestrial phenomena.
From tic-tac-shaped craft-defying physics to radar data that has no explanation, these aren't just conspiracy theories anymore. They're confirmed encounters. So, what exactly is the Pentagon hiding? And what do they know that we don't? Keep watching as we uncover the truth behind the Pentagon UFO sightings. The Pentagon has officially released 3 videos of what they're calling unidentified aerial phenomena. But let's be honest with ourselves. We all know exactly what these are. They're UFOs. And the government has been covering this up for decades. I'm certainly not buying their weak excuses. These videos were never meant to see the light of day. They were leaked by an insider, a courageous whistleblower who simply couldn't tolerate the lies anymore. So what do these videos actually show? Strange flying objects moving at speeds that shouldn't be possible, darting through the sky like they're laughing at our limited understanding of physics. Military infrared cameras captured all of this. The reactions from the pilots are priceless. You can hear them completely stunned, amazed at how fast these things are moving. One pilot even suggests it might just be a drone, but we all know that's not the case. The Navy confirmed last year that the footage is authentic. Now the Pentagon is pretending to release it on their own terms, like they're doing us a favor. Their official explanation is that they want to clear up any misunderstandings about whether the footage was real. That's classic misdirection if I've ever seen it. They're hoping we'll be so grateful for their transparency that we won't ask the real question. What else are they hiding? I've been asking these questions for years, and I'm not stopping now.
More people. They keep coming up with the same story, the same reporting, something you yourself say you have also confirmed.
I have multiple sources and also sources that came forward after my report. This is not circular reporting. This is not just folklore. The Pentagon is clearly covering something up.
Sue Guff, the Pentagon spokesperson, claims the videos don't reveal any sensitive military capabilities. Translation: we're only showing you what won't make us look completely incompetent. She also says this won't interfere with ongoing investigations into unidentified aerial incursions. That's government speak for, we're still figuring out how to spin this without admitting we've known about these things for decades. These objects were staying completely motionless in Category 4 hurricane winds. Nobody has an explanation for that. I have absolutely no doubt that they know far more than they'll ever reveal. Here's where it gets even more interesting. The Navy has created new guidelines for pilots on how to report UFO sightings. Let that sink in. Pilots have been seeing these things so frequently that the military had to develop an entire system to document them. This isn't a one-time event. This is happening constantly. I'm genuinely concerned that nobody seems to be demanding real answers. The videos first appeared thanks to an organization called To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences. Sounds harmless enough, right? Just a group of researchers curious about the unknown. But this organization was co-founded by none other than Tom DeLonge, the Blink-182 musician. If a rock star is the one pulling the truth out of the Pentagon, we are in serious trouble. What does it say about our government when a punk musician has better intelligence than the people running the country? If you think this is just a bunch of grainy, unconvincing footage, let me introduce you to a retired Navy commander who encountered one of these objects up close. He described an encounter that will send chills down your spine. He was flying his jet on a routine mission when he spotted one of these objects. It wasn't hovering or floating like a balloon. This thing was moving incredibly fast. He tried to get closer, but the object shot away like a bullet, disappearing in less than 2 seconds. A craft that moved like a ping-pong ball bouncing off a wall. Our best technology can't do that. Nothing in our arsenal can. The shocking part is that the incident was never investigated. None of his crew were ever questioned. No tapes were collected. After a few days, it just became another story to tell friends. So what exactly did this pilot see? And more importantly, why isn't the government doing anything about it? Because if I witnessed something like that, I'd be demanding serious answers. But here's the thing. They have been doing something. They've been investigating this for years behind closed doors, funneling money into a classified program they never wanted us to know about. It was called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and it operated from 2007 to 2012. According to them, they shut it down because they had higher priorities. That's government double talk for we couldn't keep spending money on this without people asking uncomfortable questions. But we know better. The program didn't end. It just went deeper underground. Luis Elizondo, the former head of this program, says there's compelling evidence that we are not alone. Let me repeat that. A man who worked for the Department of Defense just casually admitted that we may not be the only intelligent beings in the universe. And what do? Shrug and move on? Absolutely not. This is the evidence we've been waiting for. Elizondo resigned from the Pentagon in 2017 in protest because they refused to take this seriously. That tells you everything you need to know. Even former Senator Harry Reid, who helped establish this program, said these videos are just the tip of the iceberg. He tweeted that the research and materials available go far beyond what's been shown to the public. That means there's more, much more, locked away in classified vaults where the American people will never see it. I can't be the only one who finds this absolutely outrageous. Congress is still investigating, trying to get answers. Last summer, senators received a classified briefing about these unidentified aircraft. That's right, classified. If these were just harmless weather balloons or experimental aircraft from another country, why would our top lawmakers need a secret meeting? I'll tell you why. Because the truth is so mind-blowing that they can't risk it getting out. That's all the confirmation we need. Senator Mark Warner's spokesperson made some vague statement about needing to figure out whether these things pose a threat to our pilots. That's rich. They already know these things exist. They already know they can outmaneuver anything we have. And they're still pretending like they need to investigate. Give me a break. So what does all of this mean? It means the government has been lying to us for years. It means they know far more than they're letting on. It means somewhere, in some hidden lab or secret base, they have information that could change everything we know about our world. And yet, they keep us in the dark. I'm not okay with that. Wake up, people. This isn't science fiction. This is real. The evidence is staring us right in the face, and the people in power are doing everything they can to keep us distracted. They release a few videos, throw us a bone, and hope we won't dig any deeper. But we're onto them. The truth is out there, and one way or another, we're going to find it. This wasn't the only instance of the Navy revealing information about alien encounters. You've probably heard of the Tic Tac UFO incident. On November 14th, 2004, U.S. naval aviators were sent to intercept an object that defied all logic. This thing took off like a bullet, moving at speeds that should be impossible. They called it the Tic Tac because, well, It looked like one, except it was 45 feet long and could outmaneuver anything we have in the sky. The Navy spotted this thing multiple times throughout November, but did they tell us then? Of course not. The footage of the Tic Tac captured by Navy pilots was conveniently buried by the military. Why? Because if people saw it, they'd start asking the wrong questions. It took a secretive investigation based out of Las Vegas to bring to light just how revolutionary this encounter was. For 2 weeks in November, the USS Nimitz carrier strike group's highly advanced sensor systems were detecting these bizarre aerial visitors off the coast of Southern California. 1 second they were there, the next they were gone. Finally, on November 14th, radar operators managed to lock onto one. The Tic Tac. A Top Gun pilot was sent to check it out. He'd been flying for years, but nothing could prepare him for what he saw. To this day, his story has never changed. The pilot and his team saw the object move like nothing they'd ever seen. It had no wings, no rotors, no visible propulsion system, and yet it moved with speed and agility far beyond our most advanced fighter jets. To this day, these pilots have no idea what they saw, but they know one thing: it wasn't from here. And the government would rather you not think too hard about that. Now let's shift gears and talk about Antarctica. It's not just barren ice and penguins. There are things down there that the government doesn't want us to know about. Strange sightings, hidden bases, and encounters that defy logic have been reported. But as always, officials would rather keep us in the dark. McMurdo Station, the largest research hub in Antarctica, has seen its fair share of bizarre occurrences. In 2015, a retired Navy flight engineer reached out to an investigative journalist with a story that will shake you to your core. This engineer spent 14 years working in Antarctica, and for most of that time, everything was routine. Until suddenly, it wasn't. During a mission in the Transantarctic Mountains, his crew witnessed multiple unidentified silvery spherical objects maneuvering around the peaks. These objects weren't just hovering aimlessly. They moved with purpose, darting in coordinated groups before vanishing into thin air. I've never seen a weather balloon do that. But that wasn't even the most shocking part. On another mission, his team was forced to fly into a classified no-fly zone due to a medical emergency. What they saw there was beyond comprehension. A massive opening in the ice, at least 200 feet in diameter, leading straight down into the unknown. As they flew closer, their instruments malfunctioned. Navigation systems went haywire, compasses spun out of control. Electrical failures swept through the aircraft. Before they could even begin to make sense of what they were witnessing, they were intercepted by men in suits. Men who had no business being in Antarctica. They were from Washington, D.C., and they made one thing very clear: never speak of what they saw, and never fly over that area again. When the government tells someone to shut up, that's when you know they found something significant. The secrecy surrounding Antarctica doesn't stop there. Consider Admiral Richard Byrd's infamous 1946 expedition, Operation High Jump. Officially, it was a military exercise. But Byrd's hidden diary, discovered after his death, tells a much different story. He wrote about flying over the South Pole and encountering a lush green land, escorted by disc-shaped crafts to an advanced civilization deep within the Earth. There, he met a being who warned him about humanity's reckless use of nuclear weapons. When Byrd returned, he was silenced by his superiors, and his account was buried. If a decorated admiral with no history of lying suddenly gets gagged, I start asking questions. Throughout the years, UFOs have been spotted near nuclear sites across the globe, even reportedly disabling warheads at missile silos. Why are they so interested in our most destructive technology? I have a theory. Maybe they know we're too reckless to be trusted with weapons that could destroy more than just our own planet. If extraterrestrials are keeping an eye on us, Antarctica might be their secret base of operations. In 2018, a retired Navy SEAL came forward with an incredible claim. He had seen an ancient octagonal structure buried beneath the ice. The doors, he said, were 30 feet thick, yet they opened effortlessly. Inside, the temperature was a warm 70 degrees, and glowing green symbols lined the walls. This wasn't a human-made structure. This was something else, something far older and far more advanced. Why do they keep telling us Antarctica is not tourist-friendly? So that we don't go see for ourselves. There's an entire sector in Antarctica that's forbidden for unauthorized personnel. These are the Antarctic Special Protected Areas, requiring special permits to access. Sounds innocent enough, right? But when has the government ever gone to great lengths to protect something without an ulterior motive? These zones are backed by multiple nations, including the United States, Russia, and the United Kingdom, and for some reason, they are heavily restricted. If all they're hiding is a few patches of snow and some fragile ecosystems, why all the secrecy? People who go in don't come back. Or if they do, they stay completely silent. No leaked footage, no rogue scientists coming forward, nothing. Some say even getting too close to the border results in swift apprehension by heavily armed security teams. Others half-jokingly mention specially trained security penguins guarding the perimeter. But it's no joke. What are they hiding in there? Something under that ice. Something ancient. Something powerful. Now let's talk about Area 51. Officially, it's part of the U.S. Air Force's Nevada Test and Training Range, a site for testing experimental aircraft. But why would they deny its very existence until 2013 if there wasn't something far more interesting going on there? For decades, locals and tourists have reported strange aircraft flying over the desert skies near Groom Lake. Planes like the U-2 spy plane and the SR-71 Blackbird were developed there, sure, but those don't explain the truly bizarre sightings. The biggest rumor is that the infamous 1947 Roswell crash was covered up, and its wreckage along with alien bodies was transported to Area 51 for study. A scientist who claimed in 1989 to have worked there insisted he was part of a project to reverse engineer alien technology down in Area 51. He described flying saucers and advanced propulsion systems unlike anything on Earth. Of course, the government dismissed his claims, just like they always do when someone gets too close to the truth. Area 51 isn't a secret anymore, even if it's still off limits to the public. Try getting too close, and you'll be met with armed guards, surveillance drones, and enough security to make you wonder what exactly they're still hiding. Now onto another potential alien base, the Grand Canyon. One of the most famous landmarks on Earth might just be home to an alien gateway. Think about it. If you were an alien watching over humanity, how would you do it? Would you hang out in the sky where everyone could see you? No, that's way too obvious. Would you land in the middle of Times Square and announce your presence? Too risky. The smartest way to do it would be to blend in, to hide in plain sight. And what better place than a massive ancient canyon with miles of unexplored terrain? This theory gained traction back in 2022 when someone made an incredible discovery using Google Earth. They claim to have found a rectangular doorway carved into the rugged cliffs of the Grand Canyon. Of course, skeptics immediately dismissed it as a trick of the light or an old mining shaft. But why would a perfect rectangle just randomly appear in the middle of nowhere? That's not how nature works. Strange things have been reported in the Grand Canyon before. In the 1960s, a college student had an experience you won't believe. He was led, blindfolded, deep into the canyon by his Hopi friend. When the blindfold came off, all he saw was an ordinary rock wall. But when he reached out to touch it, his hand went straight through it. He passed right through solid rock like it was nothing. On the other side was a hidden city. Not just any city, but one that was advanced beyond anything humans have built. It had high-tech tunnels, towering structures, and an energy that just didn't feel of this world. Area 51 is only about 240 miles away. The Nevada Triangle, where planes and pilots have vanished without a trace, is near the southeastern edges of the canyon. And let's not forget Dulce Base in New Mexico, a place rumored to be a secret underground facility where humans and aliens work together on classified experiments. The Grand Canyon is way more than just a pretty place to take vacation photos. It might just be the best-kept extraterrestrial secret in history. Wisconsin. UFOs. A rural Wisconsin man steps outside his home, looks upward, and captures what could be the most compelling UFO footage seen in the state this year.
I've got 4 shots straight up out of my camera. I will swear under oath these are the original shots from my camera, and I don't know what they are. UFOs for sure.
He had set up his camera on a tripod to photograph the Milky Way, shooting a time-lapse sequence of roughly 700 images of his property and the night sky.
I did nothing. This is the original photo out of my camera.
While reviewing his shots, he spotted a bright object appearing in 4 consecutive frames. He insisted the photographs were completely unaltered. No cropping, no brightness adjustments, no editing whatsoever. Just raw images straight from the camera. The object glows with visible red lights and reveals a defined lower structure. In certain frames, a beam of light appears to project downward from the craft. Adding to the mystery, he heard an engine-like sound overhead at the exact moment he captured the clearest images. The object then moved across the sky and vanished from sight. Upon zooming in, he noticed it didn't resemble any helicopter or airplane. Its shape didn't match conventional aircraft. While others suggested it could be a helicopter, he remained unconvinced, particularly given the craft's unusual structure. Similar sightings have been on the rise across Wisconsin, but this particular video has drawn significant attention. Months earlier, 2 men in Oshkosh accidentally captured footage of a mysterious object while testing their smartphone zoom on planes. Reviewing the footage later, they spotted an oval or disc-shaped object moving beneath where the aircraft had been. It appeared to have a dome-like top and seemed to glide rather than fly like a normal plane. Both men firmly stated their video was authentic and not staged. In December 2022, multiple witnesses across southeastern Wisconsin reported fast-moving unexplained lights in the night sky. One woman and her husband saw a light swoop from above the trees, cross in front of their car, and repeat this movement several times before more white lights appeared. Another witness filmed 4 lights moving together toward the horizon, joined by a 5th light traveling in formation. Additional footage surfaced showing lights of various colors moving in circular and linear patterns. Wisconsin's UFO history stretches back decades. On April 19, 1978, a local police officer photographed a metallic disc-shaped object in broad daylight. While on patrol, he noticed a shiny object ascending into the sky and took several Polaroid photos, among the clearest UFO images ever documented. Even more remarkable, on March 13, 1975, a family near Mullen witnessed a silvery disc with a domed top resting on a snow-covered road. They watched it for several minutes before calling authorities. When the deputy arrived, the object disappeared with a loud boom. Pentagon UFO. In this final chapter, we examine dozens of UFO sightings that came to the attention of government authorities, who reportedly seized nearly every piece of filmed evidence related to these incidents. These reports collectively point to multiple documented cases where visual proof was allegedly recovered and reviewed by officials. On April 24, 2026, witnesses at Whiskeytown Lake in California filmed a spherical object hovering at low altitude over the water. The craft remained completely motionless for an extended period, displaying none of the drift associated with balloons or the movement patterns typical of consumer drones. The footage immediately drew attention because the object's behavior ruled out the most common explanations. This sighting aligns with a broader surge of UAP reports documented across the United States in recent months, adding to a growing collection of footage that aviation and defense authorities have yet to officially address. Whether the object represents unknown technology, a natural atmospheric phenomenon, or something else entirely remains an open question.